Hello and welcome to the first ever Chirping Pigeons live stream here on Monday, May 8th, 2023. Really excited to be with you guys today as we are going to watch the 2023 NHL Draft Lottery. This is a pretty exciting time for not just like myself as a Habs fan having the fifth best odds of getting Connor Bedard, but this is definitely a kind of a life-changing moment for a bunch of franchises. Anaheim could get him, Columbus, Chicago, San Jose. I mean, you could even get a team that's not even in the top five, jumping in and landing him at number one. We've seen it, excuse me, in some past years. But I mean, the last couple of years, the first place, the last team in the NHL did end up getting him in Uri Slavkovsky with the Montreal Canadiens last season, and with Owen Power the year before with the Buffalo Sabres. So, I mean, it's been a couple seasons since a team that's not in last place has jumped up to that number one spot. And even the year before with the whole weird situation with the bubble playoffs, I mean, and then kind of all those teams that were out in that first round and the teams that didn't make the playoffs that year all had a chance. And the Rangers ended up getting Alexis Lafreniere. I mean, so we're looking back to the late kind of 2010s decade when a team finally didn't, or a team finally jumped out of that last place spot to get the number one pick. But I mean, the talent we got this year in Connor Bedard is just unbelievable. It's like I said, it's going to change a franchise. I'll honestly be pretty happy for any team that gets it. Personally, the one team I just really don't want to see him go to is Chicago. I mean, I'm just not really a fan of the Blackhawks to begin with, and I feel like they need a little bit more suffering after just losing a franchise player in Patty Kane. So, I mean, Chicago's kind of one team I don't really want to see him go to. If he doesn't land in Montreal, personally, I'd kind of want to see him go to Columbus. I've always been kind of a fan of Columbus. They've always lacked not really having a number one C or a franchise player. And they're having a really hard time grabbing free agents until Johnny Gaudreau came this past summer. So, I mean, Columbus is definitely a place that I wouldn't really mind him going. You guys that are in the chat right now, I'm curious where you guys want him to end up today. It's going to be probably there for at least the first, 5 to 8 years of his career. So, I mean, this is a life-changing moment for him too. I'm sure there's been a lot of pressure on him. And I mean, he's exceeded the expectations. I mean, he's probably the best player to be drafted first overall since Connor McDavid. I mean, if he can surpass like what Austin Matthews is doing in the NHL right now, which seems pretty likely that he's going to at least like match what Matthews is doing, barring like an injury or anything like that. So, I mean, I'm going to be really happy for him as well. I agree. Columbus could really use a star player. It's been it's been Panarin and now Johnny Gaudreau. Like they need that star center too. Like they've been running like Boone Jenner with like Roslovic playing center. Max Domi was on their team for a couple seasons. Like they've never even had a guy that's really even like, I'd say a good top six center. But I mean, San Jose, I've just not really been that much of a fan of them. I wouldn't really hate it as much if he went to San Jose over Chicago. But I mean, it'd be pretty cool for him to go to Anaheim too, what they're building right now. I mean, even without him, they've got like young defense in Zellweger. They've got Minchikov. They got Zegras and McTavish that have been pretty good so far. This Troy Terry's still pretty young. They got a young goalie in Lucas Dostal. So, I mean, they've got a pretty bright future, I think, as well. And they're going to be landing, I'd say, at least a top 4 pick in this draft at very worst. And they're going in with the best odds, right? So, I mean, I wouldn't hate it too much if they win, to be quite honest. But like I said, Montreal is definitely my top. What am I trying to say? Like my top landing spot for him, essentially. I just don't really think he's going to go there anyway. I don't think they're going to jump from 5 to 1, especially with getting the first overall pick last year. But obviously, it'd be really cool. But I think a lot of people would probably just think it's rigged if he did jump to that number 1 spot. It's crazy though. What do you guys think like his over under for like points is next year? Like I've been seeing like 82.5. Like, is he going to land a point per game? I think it might really depend what team he lands on. Like, I mean, we're saying we don't want him to go to Columbus, but is it fair to say he'd produce a little bit more on Anaheim than he would like in Columbus, like in that very first year? I mean, like to be playing with like Zegras and McTavish, he could maybe put up a point per game, but it's like, I don't know. Like, he's good enough to carry a team as well, though, I think. So whatever I'm saying might be kind of irrelevant, but I don't know. I'm just trying to spitball a bit here. I'd say, like, at very least, he's getting like 65, like 70 points, though. That's just my opinion. So we got Chicago, Columbus, and Anaheim with the top three odds in this draft. And not just like Connor Bedard, but this draft is pretty deep, to be quite honest. I know you guys probably follow it a lot too. But I mean, you got a guy in Adam Fantilli, Hobie Baker winner, and this guy's not even drafted to the NHL yet. Just nuts. Last guy to do that was Jack Eichel. So I mean, he's got at least his ceiling, I think, or his floor, if that's the way you say it properly. And then you got Matvey Michkov. I think this Russian kid's going to be unbelievable. The only thing with him is his contract doesn't expire until 2026. So I mean, you're going to have to wait for him for 3 years. People have speculated of what's been going on in Russia, if he'll even be able to come over. I mean, his dad just suddenly passed away a couple weeks ago, and people were speculated if it was, you know what I mean, some type of murder or something like that. But I mean, hopefully he's able to come over when he does, because I know a dream for him is to play in the NHL. And then you got another guy in like Leo Carlson in the SHL who's had like the best points per game for any draft player in the SHL. And that's going back to like Pierre Forsberg, the Sedin twins, some pretty elite players in the NHL. So, I mean, if you get a top 4 pick in this draft, I think you're pretty set. That's why I'm hoping at least Montreal can jump into that top 4, and then we're guaranteed getting like a really good player at least. But even after that, like, you got guys like Will Smith playing in the U.S. National Development Program. He's looking like he might be going number 5. And we also got Zach Benson, who's playing with the Winnipeg Ice this year, who's just turning into, it looks like, a little elite player. This kid's really speedy. He's got a ton of skill. So, I mean, I think there's definitely there's a drop off after Bedard. And then you got like in that range of Fantilli, Carlson, and Michkov. And then you got that range of probably like Will Smith and Zach Benson. So, I mean, you're pretty good if you're in the top 6. And after that, it's obviously going to be a bit of a drop. But I mean, if it plays out the way that it's looking, I mean, this is probably going to be looking like one of the better drafts in the 21st century, I'll think, so far, especially with like how good Connor Bedard's looking like he can be. Like, I've never seen a guy have so much hype since McDavid, and no one really ever before that in my lifetime, at least. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited for this to see what this kid can do. Kind of unfortunate he wasn't able to play past the first round of the playoffs, pretty much doing all he could in the first round with 10 goals and 10 assists in 7 games. So, I mean, I was kind of hoping he would get traded to Kamloops, but, I mean, it didn't really seem like he wanted to get traded. And, I mean, if they got Bedard, then I don't think that they would end up getting Zellweger. I mean, they're on the brink of elimination right now playing who is it they're playing? Oh, the Thunderbirds, and the Winnipeg Ice are already off to the finals. So right now, looking at the percentages, Anaheim's got an 18.5% chance, Columbus 13.5, Chicago's got 11.5, San Jose 9.5, Montreal 8.5, and it keeps dropping that 1% until we get closer to around the 9th, 10th pick. Then it becomes around like 6%, and it goes even lower. So how it works in this draft is there's 16 teams in the lottery, but no team can move up more than 10 spots. So the last team that is able to get a draft pick, able to get the first round pick in this NHL draft lottery would be the Vancouver Canucks, finishing 11th last in the NHL. I mean, that's his hometown too. Imagine they jumped up from 11-1 after kind of what's been going on this year. But I think, so we got some rules here on the stream. 2 drawings for 16 teams that didn't make the playoffs. Teams can only move up a maximum of 10 spots. Kind of just what I was saying a little bit before that. And now we're getting going here with Bill Daly. I'm hoping you guys are on the same time as I am, or I'm not a little bit behind you. I'm watching on Sportsnet now, right now, up in Canada. And now he's about to reveal the 16th overall pick in this year's draft. The Calgary Flames. So the Calgary Flames are staying in that 16 spot. They currently right now don't have a general manager or a coach. So, I mean, they've got some work to do. And wondering who they can get in that 16 spot and who they want. Number 15 in the NHL draft is going to the Nashville Predators. So the Nashville Predators, don't believe they moved from that 15 spot. And they got some work to do this summer too. Barry Trotz is going to be the GM starting on July 1st, I believe. So number 14 pick in this draft is going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're not moving either. They don't have a current general manager, as far as I'm aware. They didn't hire anyone since Ron Hextall. They've got some work to do to get Sid back in the playoffs this year. Ryan Farwell, I'd love to see him go to a original 6 team as well, but just not Chicago. Number 13 is going to, let's see here, the Buffalo Sabres. So Buffalo took some strides this year for sure. Still getting a pretty decent pick in 13. I mean, you might be able to see them in the playoffs next year. So number 12 overall pick in this draft is going to the Ottawa Senators. So I believe that pick is actually going to become Arizona's now, since it is out of the top 10 in that Jacob Chikrin trade. Actually, that may have even been top 5 protected, not top 10. So, I mean, Arizona's kind of getting the 12th overall pick for Chikrin. See if they can make the most of that. But Ottawa's also getting a really good defenseman, I think. Number 11 overall pick in this draft, the Vancouver Canucks. So they are not moving from that number 11 spot. They're not getting Bedard, I guess, but they got some work to do as well. Can't believe they traded that other pick for Philip Pronik. They may as well just drafted someone. So now we're into the top 10. The 10th overall pick in this draft is going to the St. Louis Blues. So, yeah, they got 3 first-round picks this year. They're looking to make some damage. I could see them as a team that potentially, I don't know if they're going to trade that 10th overall pick, but I think they could be trading one of their other 2 first-round picks. Number 9 is the Detroit Red Wings. So Detroit not really getting much luck in the lottery, I would say, the last couple of years or so. I know they didn't really move, but so 8, it's Washington who's supposed to get it, but we'll see. The Washington Capitals. So they are not moving from their spot at 8. We are gone through the first 9 picks in this draft, and no one has moved a single spot yet. We've got 7 teams left that could potentially get Bedard. Philly would be next. Let's see if they're getting it or they're going to move to the top 3. The Philadelphia Flyers. So they will not be moving into the top 3. They're staying where they're at. Honestly, pretty happy about Daniel Briere getting a chance to take over and see what he can do, because their old GM did not do a good job. Number 6 overall pick in this draft is going to the Arizona Coyotes. So the Arizona Coyotes are not moving a single spot, and they will be drafting 6th overall, along with that 12th overall pick they got in the Jacob Chikrin trade. So this is pretty nerve-wracking. Montreal is going next. I'm really hoping that it's skipped and they move into the top 3. Oh. All right, so they are drafting 5. They do have a top 5 pick. Ken Hughes, gotta love him. Met him at the Bruins game a couple months ago. Was an absolute beauty. Got a selfie with him. So Montreal picking 5th overall. There are some options. I'm really hoping Michkov drops to them at 5, because that would be unreal. So number 4 right now, who do we got? The San Jose Sharks. Wow, so San Jose is not moving. We haven't had a single team move from their spot yet. This is nuts. I thought we'd have at least have one. I just have a feeling he's going to Anaheim now. Oh, wow, so that was a change in placement. So Columbus drops to 3rd, so he's going to Chicago or Anaheim now. Oh, my. Wow. That is nuts. I really wanted him to go to Columbus. But, I mean, I'm really hoping he goes to Anaheim now. Anaheim or Chicago? Chicago, please, no. I hope none of you guys in here are Chicago fans, because I've just been ripping them. But just not a big fan after what happened with the organization. I don't think it was very professional at all. And I just think they need to go through a little bit more suffering, because they just had Patrick Kane and they had Taves for a while being a franchise player. I mean, gotta be bad for some time, you know? They weren't even classified as rebuilding the season before last season. They went all in. Well, they got Fleury, Seth Jones. They were going for it. They haven't really been rebuilding for that long. Anaheim, on the other hand, they've been rebuilding for quite some time, or trying to. A new chapter of the organization. Do you mean with like the Hawks? Because I agree. Really build a future that's positive than what happened. Yeah, I know. Well, that's really why I just don't want him to go there. Well, sorry to the Hawks fans. I mean, just not a team I really like that much. What do you guys think? Hawks or Ducks? If you had to guess right now. Because I'm kind of thinking he's going to the Hawks now. These commercials are killing me too. Yeah, I'm hoping the Ducks, man. It'd be so cool for him to play right away with like Zegras and McTavish, Troy Terry. You got those sick defensemen and Zellweger and Minchikov. Drysdale's going to be back next year, healthy, hopefully. Cam Fowler just eats minutes up there playing number 1D. I mean, they really got no one else that's that great, right? You got Shattenkirk's going to be an unrestricted free agent this summer. I mean, what if they're going to attract free agents like one of these teams? Like, do you guys think that Kane would go back to Chicago if they got Bedard? Because, I mean, like, he didn't really say he was considering it, but I mean, I wonder what he's thinking now. Like, he only wanted to go to the Rangers. They're out in the first round. Is he going to go back to the Rangers? I don't know. Like, at worst, they're getting Fantilli, so you don't see Kane returning. Yeah, but it's like I could see it too, and like they're not going to be good really. So they're not going to be good. So I mean, like he's trying to chase another cup. So I wonder if he go to like Edmonton, honestly, for cheap. So we already know they're showing number 3, but we already know it's Columbus. Wow. Yarmo's kind of pissed. I'd be too. No luck for the Jackets. Oh my god. Please, Anaheim. I'm going to be so happy if it's Anaheim. Oh my god. I can't believe it. These guys jump from 3-1. Like the second movement of this draft, they go from 3-1. They're going from Patrick Kane to Connor Bedard. Quack, quack, quack. Yeah, no kidding, man. Wow. So, I mean, Ducks are getting Fantilli, but Connor Bedard is a Chicago Blackhawk. Absolutely insane. I can't believe it. So now we got Kyle Davidson talking. You see the fresh of breath there he took. He's stunned. He just said he's stunned. I mean, if he wants to go there, it's cool for him to go to an original 6 team. But I mean, he's going to be happy anywhere he goes, I think. regardless. He doesn't seem like a guy that's like he could have went to like Arizona and everyone's talking about, oh yeah, he should just like not go. But I feel like he'd go. Seems like a really unselfish guy. Honestly, as much as I don't really like it, congrats to the Blackhawks on getting him. I mean, franchise changing moment once again after getting Patty Kane. What is it, 16 years ago now? I mean, they're moving over to seems like a generational talent, Connor Bedard. He's gonna be playing in that, was it Pacific? No, Central Division. Sorry. So I mean, he's going to be playing McDavid a decent amount, like not as much as they were in division, but you will be getting more Bedard McDavid matchups than you would if he was in the East for sure. And even like Adam Fantilli's going to the Pacific Division. I mean, if Leo Carlson's going third overall, he's going to Columbus. Then fourth overall, you got, is Mitchkov going to go to San Jose? I know this kid's going to help write easily a decade further of history to a team that's already a century old. I know, man. And it's like, they don't really got a lot of talent now, but he's going to help turn them around so fast. They got so many picks, too, in the draft. Like, they're going to be a good team soon. San Jose, Mitchkov. I'm hoping Mitchkov drops to 5. I mean, if not, like, I'd be wanting to take, like, Will Smith or Zach Benson, like I was saying earlier in the stream, because those guys seem like they're going to be really good players, too. Honestly, I'm just kind of happy Montreal didn't drop at all. I kind of had a feeling they might drop to that number 6 spot or even worse than that, but I'm happy they stuck at number 5. Like I said, I was hoping that they'd go up to number 4, and then I'd honestly be more guaranteed a shot at Mitchkov, to be honest. But, I mean, time will tell if San Jose is going to take him or not, or even if Columbus will take him earlier. I do think he's a little bit better than Leo Carlson, but seems like that contract might affect him a little bit, but Leo Carlson might be returning to the SHL next year. Guys, I really appreciate you tuning into this stream. Hope you guys had a good time. Definitely going to come back and do one for the draft. It was really fun. Thank you very much. If you haven't checked out the channel, please go like and subscribe and check out some of our videos. Thanks again, guys.